you travel with the president quite a bit. I don't know if you're in Israel with him or not. I'm not sure. Were you?
I was in Egypt when he was in Israel.
Yes. Oh, okay. So the statement he made in Israel, this country, was it unfortunate? Was it out of frustration? What do you think it was?
I think we all must accept the president would like to do more. But the president's hands are tied. The president has to use institutions which are independent on their own. Actually, the president cannot order the DPP, the EACs, to do things which they feel they should not do. The president cannot order the courts to convict if they feel they don't want to convict. And you don't know what happens behind the scene, why people are not convicted. So what we need in this country is to address how can we get faster judgments? How can we give president unfettered powers to deal with issues? But when you say police should arrest, police go back to court. The police will be told, you arrested that guy, release him.
Chris, go above the courts. Go above the courts. Arrest 5 people. Arrest 5 main people.
How many cases are lying in court today which have not seen the light of the day?
Hundreds, Chris.
Hundreds. I think they're about 500.
400.
400, yes.
Barrack, go above the court. Arrest those 5 people, slam them in committee, lock them away for a week as their lawyers scramble in and out of court. By the time they get to court or they get released, that have spent a couple of weeks in committee.
You know, these are apologies, and I don't believe in an apology myself. As a patriotic Kenyan, I believe that we must face this thing head on, and we must call it what it is. That when I talk about the police, I mean it in every sense. That we have got the Inspector General of the police, that we have got the Criminal Investigations Department, that some of these things which people are doing are economic crimes, that when they commit economic crimes, there are ways and mechanisms and procedures of dealing with them, that we don't necessarily have to use these stopgap institutions that we call independent commissions and authorities, and which are completely useless and a burden to the taxpayer in this country, that these people can actually be apprehended, that if the DPP is not doing his work, the head of state has got mechanisms that can cause him to be removed, that he has got a political dispensation, and it is a majoritarian political dispensation which can be mobilized to cause some of these people to vacate those spaces, that indeed action can be taken, that if it is the judiciary which we are seeing is not living up to its square, that the various personalities who are involved can be removed, and that the person who is at the very top can cause all these processes to begin. The other day we had these things about Tunoi, and I don't know whether he's innocent or not. And the first thing that we saw from State House was hemming and hawing. We saw prevarication. We saw procrastination from State House. They were groping all over the place looking for excuses, reasons why they should not commence action. One morning they wake up, they tell us that the judiciary has not submitted the essential papers. The judiciary stands its ground. The next day we hear that, oh, now we are going to generate a constitutional crisis. Then when you learn that beyond this it's going to be you who is going to face impeachment, you move quickly, you do something, you put it in place. And even when you put it in place, it is still flawed. It's flawed because you put there a chair who...
When we look at,
when we look at so let us not apologize. In fact, the problem with this country are people like CJ I think who apologize. And I understand why he must apologize.
No. Let me tell you, Jeff,
why he must apologize.
Jeff, give me a minute.
You take
Jeff, I think this is bullshit.
Oh, what is?
This guy is just talking. We have laws in this country. We know today the president can't do what he wishes to do. He knows that very well. He's a very learned person. If the president goes against the constitution,
Oh, he does all the time.
well, please, he will be himself in big trouble. Let us say, let us all advocate.
It's people like this one who misadvise the president.
No,
Yes.
let us all accept to suspend the constitution and the Bill of Rights and give the president powers to see whether he will act or he will not act.
Chris, I hear you.
Go on, PLO.
There is a sense in which I must agree with Barrack and also agree with you, which is something that is difficult to understand. The proposal that we suspend the law is anarchy.
Yeah.
I believe that within the system that we have, the legal system that we have, the president can still operate. History has demonstrated that if you want to work with things like the laws we have, the constitution that we have, there must be what I call a positive conspiracy of institutions. A conspiracy which requires the institutions to move in the same direction. And last year when the president went to parliament and read his State of the Nation address, he was quite clear, he was quite bold. He told the nation this is the direction in which we want to move. And the cue ought to have been taken from these other institutions. And I agree with you, Chris, when you say that there is a sense in which the president cannot do what he wants. You saw yesterday, the court said that the president acted in a manner that is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But leadership sometimes is about doing things that appear to be extra constitutional, but yet they have a larger purpose. I know my friend Professor Makau Mutua will not agree with me on this, but President Kenyatta must now do something that is extra constitutional.
Absolutely. And Chris, he can do it.
In keeping with the spirit of the Constitution. And this is where I agree with Barrack. There are political solutions that can be taken. What are the political solutions? Every public official who is involved in corruption must be dealt with politically. The president enjoys a healthy majority in parliament. If he wants to move anything in parliament, he can move it today. If the president were to ask the leader of government business today that the only subject I want to be debated in the National Assembly, in the Senate, is the state of corruption in this country, and I'm going to declare that corruption is a national disaster, and we are going to deal with it in that way. The president can achieve that, and you who are in the business community who stand to suffer gravely if this country goes under, you have a duty to tell the president through KEPSA, through the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, that if this country continues on this trajectory, then nobody is going to invest here.
Let me tell you, we are telling as it is, as you say, the business communities themselves are signing agreements between themselves that anybody who is corrupt must be denounced. The government must not do business with anybody who is supposed to be corrupting the officials. All these things are said. But the weight of this whole issue, and I know your frustration, is beyond that. Let us declare a state of emergency and
State of
say
emergency.
there are certain rules, certain ways that we must put away, dispense with. Because how many people you sack and they go to court and they say, I'm illegally sacked. And the court itself puts you back on your job. So let's agree that we have a problem. I can hear you are mourning. You can hear you are mourning.
No.
You are mourning, but with your one eye shut, right? There's one side you don't want to look at.
I look
you
everywhere.
have your one eye shut and you are mourning.
Yeah. But Chris, the whole thing is what? Is what?
No.
It's bullshit, man.
We are decent gentlemen here. And,
No, but this is a decent word. Listen,
They
this
are
is a
allowed.
decent word compared to what is happening. We have taught our children to steal for their knowledge. Now,
but
no
Chris,
child wants...
Gentlemen,
Wait, man.
let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break and come back because there's plenty more to talk about.
What are you breaking for?
so that you may catch your breath.
This is serious.
Yeah.
It is serious.
The children in his area. 300, 200 of them get A straight. Which world do you get this kind of a thing? And he doesn't talk about it. This is corruption. When we teach our
the
children
house
to
is
steal.
on fire.
Hey,
When the
man.
house is on fire. I will talk about fire.
Yeah, let's spray this one. Because this is, thank you, X, thank you. All right, here we go. Oh, guys. Oh, it's pathetic. The bench is on fire, no doubt. Chris Kirubi has come and lit it up with Barrack, Muluka, PLO, Lumumba.
For the establishment.
What is it? What's the B word? It's what?
I'm not for establishment or for anybody, for non-established or established.
Apologies.
I am for.
He travels on Air Force One.
Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. Takes a break. We'll be back with new extinguishers, hopefully in a moment. Back in a moment.